What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the fourth episode of the PRIMLLIFE podcast. I have my friend Zach Boulette today to talk about his journey. I'm a really cool guy, currently a member of the U.S. military, and has some really cool stories and inspirational stuff that I think he can really help motivate and inspire you with. But I'll let him introduce himself and share his story.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Zach Boulette, and I grew up in Janesville, Wisconsin, and then right out of high school, I joined the Navy, became a nuclear qualified electrician. So I'm currently serving on board the USS George Washington, CVN-73, one of the big aircraft carriers. And so as I was going through my training, even though we're in the military, we're focused on, in the nuclear community, we're more focused on using our brains and not our bodies. So we did some things, but not nearly enough to keep us in shape or even progressing. And so after a couple of years, it started to catch up to me just a little bit, enough where I didn't, I knew I had to change something pretty quick. And that is when I got introduced to Beachbody and Beachbody coaching. And so started working out right from my room in a little, 5x7 space. Doesn't take much with a adjustable set of weights. So I did that for a couple months, and then I started coaching and inviting other people to essentially do the same thing and just spread the word about living healthy. So that's kind of the cut and dry for that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Did you have any moment in particular where you realized that like you really had the desire to start getting into fitness and getting into self-improvement?
So this kind of goes back so pretty much everyone in my family has like a little bit of a gut and stuff, and everybody constantly says, oh yeah, when you get older you're gonna have that. And I was a swimmer and I was an athlete all the way through high school and everything like that, and I was told, I was like, I'll never be like that, guys. Like, I refuse to let myself do that. And I just noticed as I got a little older, in my early 20s, the fat started replacing muscle. And so I wasn't gaining weight yet, but I was replacing, muscle with fat. And it just, I started getting a little bit of a love handles on my sides. And I was like, yeah, it's not going to work for me. And then at the same time, the girl I just started dating was a Beachbody coach. So it kind of just all fell into line.
Yeah, for sure. Did you have any struggles early on in your fitness journey? Like, did you have a lack of motivation?
Not really. I was super motivated because, it's a totally new community that I was introduced to. That's one of the big things with Beachbody, is that you do have the community support behind you. We run challenge groups where everybody keeps each other accountable. We log our workouts and, having our dense nutrition shakes every day. And so it was just this super awesome, positive community that everybody was on the same page. Everyone thought alike. Everybody was going after their own goals. So I didn't really struggle at the beginning at all. And, you see changes pretty quickly at the beginning too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for me, I started noticing muscles that I never even thought about before or even knew I had. And so, that just kept me going a lot in the beginning until it just kind of became part of, daily life at that point.
Do you think if you didn't have that accountability aspect of it, you would have kind of fallen off the journey?
Oh, 100%. I did it before, everybody does. We always tell them, all right, I'm going to go to the gym. All right. Yep. So you go to the gym for a day or two, and then you're sore as hell because, you're young and you want to push your body because it can,
Yeah.
and in the moment, but then, the next day you're like, ooh, that wasn't so good. So then you're forced to take 4 or 5 days off, and then you might show up one or two more times after that, and then you usually fall off. And another part of it too is that, I was an athlete. I was always told exactly what to do, exactly what workout to do. Swim this distance at this amount of time.
Yeah.
We do dry land before practice, and we go, all right, do 20 squats, 20 push-ups, or whatever it was for that day. And I was always told. And so going to the gym, it was just completely different because no one was telling me what to do. I was lost. I've never made a workout program before or anything. And so that was super nice. With Beachbody, you just pull up your workout program, you go to the calendar, see what day you're on, and then you click play.
Yeah.
Just follow along. So it's super easy.
I totally have to agree with you. Just having a program or a training guide laid out just helps so much, because it's so easy to, like, when you're trying to think, oh, what do I have to do today, and it's easy to fall off it or kind of skip out on like the volume or like advancing in your training. But if you have what you're supposed to do laid out, the sets, the reps, the time spent, it makes it that much easier to get into the gym every day and just grind.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and if you don't have it, then, well, one, you don't have a finish line.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a program, you don't have a finish line. You're just working out to work out. Like what are you doing?
Yeah, and it's harder to progress too, because if you're not lifting heavier or doing more reps, more sets every week, your progression just slows down. And then at that point, you start losing motivation, and when you're not seeing as much results as you could be getting. So that's another big thing too. So
right. Well, your body follows your mind.
Mm-hmm.
As well. If you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this so I gain muscle, well, then your mind is telling your body to gain muscle. But if you just show up every day saying like, oh yeah, I'm gonna work out to stay healthy or stay the same, well, that's exactly what's gonna show in your body. Your mind has a lot of strength in that. You obviously have to put in the work for your body to change, but your mind has to be there.
I totally agree with that too. If you don't have a positive mindset, you're just gonna, it almost is degrading in a sense too, because if you're not happy with the progress you're making, you just get in such a bad mindset, such a state of mind. It starts affecting your daily life too. And you see so many of these lifters with body dysmorphia because they're not advancing at the speed they want to, or they're just not happy with the results they get. But also another thing is too, just being happy with the journey. You don't have to stop wanting to improve, but you kind of have to take some bliss and take some enjoyment in the process of getting to where you want to be. I kind of think of it as like a blissful dissatisfaction, where you're never happy with what you have, but you're happy with the process and just getting better.
Oh yeah, a thing that'll help with that too is breaking down your goals into smaller increments. Benching 400 pounds, that's going to be, months and months, if not years away for a couple people. But if you break that 4 year down into like a year, all right, where can I be in a year? All right, well, I can probably, bench 175 in a year. Okay. Well, what do I have to do on a monthly basis to get to that point? And so you break it down to those smaller milestones, and you'll find that you'll progress a lot more, and you'll stay way more on track.
I totally have to agree
with your goals, because if you're not hitting those milestones, well, then 4 years is going to come around and you're still going to be benching, 175.
Yeah. Consistency is such a huge
thing. Beat yourself up.
Yeah. I see so many people, they go so hard in the gym for like a week, 2 weeks, and then they fall off for weeks at a time. And it's just like, you really have to map out it, and just takes the smaller goals thing is huge, because you can't expect to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger within months of training.
Nope. Consistency is one of the most vital things, if not the most vital thing that you can do in your training. It's all about consistency
and nutrition as well.
100. Oh yeah. But I'm just saying, 1,000 push-ups in one day is going to be way more detrimental. Is actually going to be detrimental to your health than if you did 1,000 push-ups throughout the entire week.
Mm-hmm. Recovery is huge.
I mean, you probably won't even get to 1,000 push-ups in a day, and then you'll beat yourself up because you didn't do 1,000 push-ups that day.
I totally agree. Do you ever find sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Do you ever find it hard to balance the military life and the fitness life?
Oh God, yeah, 100%. Uh, every 5 days, I have duty, so I work 24 hours, and that includes an overnight. So I'm not working the entire time, but I'm at work the entire time. And there's essentially, I'm going to call it a useless gym available for us to use. It's super tiny, only has a couple things in it, and if one other person's using it, you're SOL. And so essentially every 5 days is a rest day, which, most of the time in my programs, I swap the days and work around my duty days. But another thing with that is, I could be most days I either go to sleep at 2:30 a.m. or I'm waking up at 2:30 a.m. So even
Yikes.
day after duties, I am toast. And, if my workout that day isn't getting nearly as good as it could have been. And, it's funny. We just picked up, I don't know if you ever heard of Whoop.
I don't think so.
Fitness trackers. So it's a fitness tracker I just picked up from my girlfriend. There's no watch face on them, but it's the best fitness tracker I think I've ever used. I've had Fitbits, I've had the smart watches, and Whoop actually tells you data. It'll take all the data and it'll give you actual measurements back. And so today I woke up after, I think I had slept for like 7.5 hours. And because it was my day after duty, I was only 26% recovered.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Versus, I was averaging, the last week I was around like 65 to 70, somewhere around there. And yeah, even though I did everything almost completely correct, I was still only 26% because, I woke up at midnight yesterday at midnight, and I got a couple hours nap, and then I didn't go to sleep until I think it was midnight. We ended up staying up for a while doing things.
Yeah.
So yeah, 26%. It was crazy. Yeah, it was nuts, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, well, that is a true measure of how much my duty days screwed me up.
No, for sure. What did your education look like?
So yeah, it's that. For the military?
Yeah, as much as you can say, but like obviously nuclear engineering, there has to be a ton of stuff that goes into that.
Yeah. So one thing you have to, well, for everybody is that it's nuclear power and propulsion. It's not, nuclear bombs or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing. So it was 2 years of schooling total ended up being, it's only supposed to be 18 months, but I got held up in a few spots because of things out of my control at the training command. So I spent 6 months in Charleston, South Carolina. The first 6 months was learning about all the electrical stuff because I'm an electrician's mate, and so learned all about circuit boards and power, voltage, current, motors, generators. So all that stuff was in the 6 months. We spent schools from 6:45 to 3:30, and then all the students could have anywhere between 1 and 4 hours of mandatory study time in the same room that we just spent all day in.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you got an hour for lunch in there somewhere, but you ate dinner at some point. But yep,
that's crazy.
That was the first 6 months. We had at least one test a month or one test a week that was all open answer.
Wow.
No multiple choice, no true or false, no simple answers. This was explaining things, drawing things, going through equations, explaining how generators and motors work, and everything like that. So yeah, they packed in a lot of stuff that first 6 months, and the second 6 months too. So the second 6 months is power school, And that's when you actually get to start learning all the cool, interesting stuff about nuclear power and propulsion. So then we started learning about reactors and heat stress, thermodynamics, all that kind of stuff. We started learning the second 6 months, which was the exact same schedule. So no relief there. I did have 2 months in between A school and power school, but yeah, that was a rough. So that's 14 months total in Charleston, South Carolina. Well,
Dang.
outside Charleston, South Carolina.
That's crazy.
And then, yeah, so then the year after that is prototype training, which is in upstate New York. And there, essentially, we learn how to qualify. We learn how, the knowledge we need to get, the knowledge we need to actually, operate and do our actual job. So that's supposed to be another 6 months, but that's where I got stuck for a full year due to the training platform being shut down for most of that time. So
wow,
that was 12-hour shift work.
Oh my gosh.
rotating shift work, mind you. So there was 5 sections. So you had days 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then you had swings, which was noon to midnight, and then mids was 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and then you had a training week, which was essentially days again, but you got a 4-day after that though. So yeah, you kind of rotated through those on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
You worked 5 to 7 days, and then you'd have anywhere from a day and a half to 3 days off.
Did you notice anybody falling off the journey as they went through it? Like the schooling and the rigorous.
Oh yeah, the attrition rate is ridiculous. And they add all this stress on us on purpose, because it is a stressful job, and they need to make sure that people can handle the stress before they get out to the fleet. Because what we do is vital. We can't have an aircraft carrier just kind of stranded in the middle of the ocean. That's us that keeps those things moving. And so, yeah, the attrition rate, I had a pretty good class, so it wasn't as high, but I've heard numbers from 85% up don't make it.
It's crazy.
Through the pipeline. Now that some of that has to do with legal stuff, medical stuff, mental stuff. So there's more that keeps people up than just the education not being able to keep up school work wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, the attrition rate's pretty wild. And then once you get to the fleet, even that's even higher. Because people get pregnant, and then to like a dual Navy, both spouses are Navy, so then one can get out if they don't have a backup family plan to go through. So yeah, there's a lot of things that can get you out of the program, so it is super hard to stay in, for sure.
What did you do to manage stress? Obviously you're working under crazy conditions. Like, how did you keep yourself afloat mentally?
The first 6 months were really, really tough. First 6 months were super tough. That was the first time I was away from home for any extended period of time. I didn't have a girlfriend. I had a roommate. These rooms were smaller than the room that I'm in right now, and we shared a bathroom with 2 other guys. So, yeah, it essentially just kind of banding together with the people you were with, and I didn't work out the first 2 years really, so I played a lot of video games. Skyrim. I played a lot of Skyrim
fun game.
the first year. Yep, that was kind of my go-to. And yeah, I didn't have a car for the first, God, 8 months, something like that. That was there. That's when I finally got a car. And so yeah, I'm not really exactly sure, but I stayed connected with my social support system from back home.
Yeah.
I was on the phone with my mom and dad, once or twice a week, and I don't know. I was able to keep my head on straight. So
Yeah, for sure. That also goes back to like the accountability thing, along with like training, just having people to stay connected with during your journey, to seek motivation from, to motivate you, and for you to motivate them. It's huge. It's massive.
oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And then it's also hard to remember what you're doing and the significance of what you're doing while you're in the program as well. Because to me, I was showing up to I had a test that I had to study for every goddamn week. That was hard as hell, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing this for? And then talk to somebody back home. They're like, oh, we're so proud of you. What you're doing is so cool. And then once in a while, you just have to reflect back on
Yeah.
what you're actually doing.
Keep the vision part of it. Keep your mind on the journey and the end goal, rather than getting kind of caught up in the not as fun parts of the process.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Going back to like fitness and nutrition, what does like a day in the life look like you regarding eating and working out?
Ooh, eating. So in the morning, I have my it's called Shakeology. It's a dense nutrition shake. Essentially, it has protein in it, but it's not a protein shake.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that with I have that for breakfast, and I pour some powdered greens in there too. Just I don't enjoy vegetables all that much. So I mean, I do, and I'm starting to like a lot more of them. But yeah, it's just nice to get that extra serving in a day, no matter what. So then I have vitamin D spray actually from Onnit. I don't know if you've heard of Onnit, but it's the company that Joe Rogan owns with another guy called Aubrey Marcus, who's a super cool guy. He has a book, Own the Day, Own Your Life, which I highly recommend. Anyway, so vitamin D3 spray and vitamin B12 because me and my girlfriend actually switched to a whole foods plant-based diet.
Dang.
We started in December, but we actually kind of really hit it hard once we got back from Wisconsin in January. So yeah, so then I have to supplement vitamin B and vitamin D because it's hard to get those two specifically on a whole foods plant-based diet. So yeah, that is the morning, and then usually I have for lunch that I bring to work, I have carrots and hummus and a peanut butter jelly sandwich and some trail mix, really to hold me over until I get home. And then once I get home, I drink down some pre-workout and work out pretty much right away, usually when I get home, and then have my protein shake called Recover right after with some creatine, and then for dinner, it just kind of depends.
Yeah.
If it's Tuesday, we usually have burritos or taco pasta, and or just veggie stir fry. Asian veggie stir fry. That's another one of our go-tos. So it kind of just all depends on at night.
No, for sure. Do you ever cheat on your diet?
Try to. I'll have like sweets and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have not cheated. I haven't had. So I'll have cheese once in a while because I'm from Wisconsin. I love cheese.
Yeah.
It basically pulses through my veins. So there's still some left over. So I'll have cheese once in a while. I'll have pizza or something. veggie pizza or something, like, I don't know, once a month or so. And then, but I have not had meat since December.
That's crazy.
So that part I have not cheated on.
Have you noticed
That
anything?
part I've not cheated on at all.
Did you notice anything like really like change like body wise when you like cut meat out?
Body wise, not at all. Not to the negative, anyways. Not even close. I actually feel way better. Yeah, actually noticed an increase in performance and in recovery. Cutting out meat and dairy, and yeah, yeah. I feel yeah, have not felt better. I've had no issues, sustaining my energy or anything like that people, like to rattle on about, whole food plant-based diets not being the best, especially for performing athletes. And I've had no problems at all whatsoever. It's actually the contrary. So it's going very well, and yeah, I'm happy. I definitely don't recommend doing it cold turkey,
Okay.
either. It takes a while, and a lot of that has to do with the bacteria in your stomach. Um, I don't know. There's a couple books. One's called Super Life by Darren Owen, who's actually the co-founder of Shakeology, the dense nutrition shake that I use. And he talks about gut health. I think Gut Health is the name of another book. But anyways, a lot of it talks about how your gut is actually your second brain.
Yeah.
So
Whole biome.
Yeah. So the bacteria in your stomach is actually what delegates your cravings and stuff. Because when your body's used to breaking down certain foods for, a certain nutrient or certain source of energy, then that's what they crave. And so, if you eat meat all the time, well, your body's going to want meat. And if you cut meat out, cold turkey, your body's not going to respond quickly enough, and you're going to break down in your diet.
Sure.
Most likely that's what's going to happen. And so it was a gradual change. I cut out red meat probably over a year ago for the most part, except like a burger here and there or a really good steak. And then, I started exploring more vegetables and stuff like that. And yeah, it just came to the point where in December I was like, I think I can do this. This sounds like it's doable for me now, and it definitely has been.
Well, props to you. That's a big change. Just cutting out a whole food group in your diet. That's crazy.
Yeah, but I get enough protein with my dense nutrition shake, my protein shake, and then which counts for about a third of my protein intake, and then the rest of it is nuts, seeds, legumes, beans. A ton of stuff have protein in them, and it was actually one of my biggest concerns switching over. And I actually in my notebook on my phone, I was actually researching one day. I was like, all right, what exactly do I have to eat to maintain my protein, make sure I have enough protein? And I was actually surprised with how much I didn't really have to worry about it, because that was the stuff I enjoy eating anyways. I love trail mix. I love rice and quinoa and the beans and all that kind of stuff. So
For sure.
I've had no issues.
Yeah, no, it is. People think you have to eat this like crazy, like meat-based diet, 300 grams of protein a day, but in reality, you don't need even half as much as people think you do. Like it's as long as you're like making like an effort to eat protein-filled foods, regardless if there's meat or not in them, you'll probably hit your protein goals and probably even exceed them. And there's also a point.
Oh,
yeah, there's also a point where
your body doesn't even process it.
Exactly.
After a certain point,
you get to a point where it's just
you're
too much.
Yeah. All these people that are downing protein shakes 4 times a day, you're just like, you're pissing half of that out.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
For sure.
So that's where knowledge of your own body comes in, and actually calculating out your most likely actual absorption of protein.
I totally agree with that. That's crazy. Like that, your whole diet change. I can't even really begin to think of how I would even approach that. I'm very meat based for sure. I don't eat grains, and I try to stay away from dairy. But that's a huge change. But if it works for you,
yeah. I mean, the big thing with most people and carbs is that it's the processed carbs and the added sugar. That's mostly what you have to be concerned about. And actually, at the beginning of the year, and I think most of them are actually required now. I think everybody had to be done by June, no matter what. Is now all nutrition labels have a added sugar section.
I remember hearing about
that. Yeah, so which is super, super awesome, because before, something said it had, 40 grams of sugar, but, it had fruit in it.
Exactly.
So fruit is obviously good for you, and, you need sugar in your diet, at least somewhat. And unless you're doing keto, but that's a totally different conversation. For a normal diet, you need some carbs, some sugar somewhere, and that should mostly come from whole food, plant-based carbohydrates and sugar. And so that's when the extra added sugar section really comes in handy. So we stay almost exclusively away from everything that has any added sugar in it.
Yeah, and that's the way to do it. It's just, well, it might not make you gain weight at first. It just affects your energy levels. Your mood might even get affected negatively as well. Just best to stay away from all that extra added crap that they put into foods. And even
100%.
It's crazy. Like you look at peanut butter labels, and you'd think that it'd mostly be natural and organic, but like you see just crazy amounts of sugar.
Not even close.
Yeah,
not even close. It's super hard to find. Peanut butter only needs one ingredient in it.
Yep.
And that's roasted peanuts.
Exactly.
And the best one I found is at Trader Joe's. I think the closest place to Janesville that has it is Madison. There's a Trader Joe's in Madison. But yeah, that's the best one I found, and it's still only like $2, I think, for a jar of peanut butter, which is on par, and it only has the only ingredient in it is roasted peanuts.
Yep.
And that's it. And that's really what you want to look for. It's hard to find, but that's really what you want to look for. You don't want any of the other oils or any of the other additives. You don't need it.
Yeah.
You don't want it. It tastes better.
Yeah, true.
But you'll eventually find one that you like. For sure.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree with all like both fitness and nutrition stuff that you talked about, and mindset, and like dealing with stress too. But if you had one mindset, like just general tip for people to stay motivated and stay inspired, what would it be?
Social support.
Yep.
That is the biggest key in success. Is if you have social support and accountability, then you're gonna keep showing up.
Yep.
You're gonna keep showing up. I think I am historically horrendous at self accountability. But as soon as someone else is on me about whatever particular thing, it's gonna get done.
Yeah.
If I have one person, poking me every day, like, hey, did you do this? Hey, did you do this? Like, sure, I might. Like, let's be honest, like, I might lie to him like 1 or 2 days, but I'm going to feel bad about lying to him, then I'm going to fucking do it.
Exactly.
So,
for sure.
So, yeah.
Well, man.
Yep.
I really appreciate having you on.
Yeah, bro.
Where can they find you on social media?
So Instagram, Boutel Fitness 06, or my coach Beachbody page is Phoenix Legacy Fitness. And then I'll send you a link to my coaching, all the coaching information and form,
For sure.
if you want that.
Yeah.
And then I also have discount codes for Onnit and Whoop if you want to post
I
those.
will. Yeah, man.
For people.
Yeah, everybody's watching.
So I'll just
make sure you go follow him. Crazy cool guy. Has posted a ton of both fitness, mindset, and nutrition stuff that is just it's all really science based and stuff that'll make you feel better and work to your best extent. It's crazy how much mindset, nutrition, and fitness can do to your life. And I think Zach best embodies it and can really give you a lot of motivation and just tips on how to live your best life. But thank you all for watching. Appreciate this. If you want to go follow him, I'd highly recommend it. But thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it.
Yep.